WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, WCCSradio.com. I'm assuming he's all calmed down now and things are sort of going to be nice and relaxed over the holiday season for Mark Hilliard and the Chamber of Commerce. Well, at least from the
good.
Chamber of Commerce perspective, maybe not from the family perspective. He's got 4 kids after all. Our conversation with Mark Hilliard brought to you by Marcus and Mack, voted best personal injury law firm in the Best of Indiana County contest. Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. It has been a busy month for your chamber, hasn't it?
It has. From a chamber perspective, this is kind of an area where we can take a breather. So yes, we settled down after a couple of things that we had a lot going on this past month and just finished our annual meeting as well. So we can take a breath, and relax a little bit, but it never slows down for me, unfortunately. But I am hoping to enjoy the holidays. I always do with the kids. But yeah, it's great, and I think we had a great year for the chamber and a lot of fun things and exciting things coming up next year. But it was busy. It was a really busy time.
Well, let's review. Go back to the annual meeting. Congressman Guy Reschenthaler came and was your speaker.
Yes.
And opened a few eyes, didn't he?
He did. We weren't expecting him to do a Q&A the way that he did, because normally we don't have that with annual speakers, especially from the federal level. But what I was impressed with, and actually some of the feedback we got, was how transparent he was with the group in terms of getting into the weeds with a lot of the issues that were happening in the House down in Washington. And I wasn't expecting him quite to go into that much detail and to really get some of that behind-the-scenes knowledge, but it was kind of interesting for those who are interested in politics, regardless of what side you were on. I don't think he went too far in terms of one side or the other, just more of what the bigger issues are that are happening and why they're happening. But from our standpoint, with his leadership role in a lot of areas, we think that he's going to be a major asset for our county and somebody we can lean on to help move Indiana County forward. And we were happy to have him there and happy to bring him back, and hopefully we continue a good relationship with him in the future.
And a really nice event in terms of other aspects of that meeting, too.
We had first the male and female civic leaders, so the first time we announced that at our annual meeting, because the Athena Luncheon happened back in October. So, we were honored to recognize Ed Narrig and Cindy Rogers for the male and female civic leader this year. And I thought both of them gave fantastic speeches. Were really from the heart. And then we announced our Business Hall of Fame class for next year, the 2024. And I'll try to remember them off the top of my head. But Heath Clark, John Sutton, Ann Lazanik, Mike Price, Brian Force, and our chairman selection, Dana Henry. It was Dave Reed. Made that announcement as well, and we also announced that we are moving our Hall of Fame to early September. So it's typically a June event, but because we have the Excellence in Education in May, and at the end of May, our golf outing, we just felt as if June was too soon to try to lump 3 major events together in the span of about 45 days. So our committee, and we have a great Hall of Fame committee, decided to move that to September to give us a little more space in between events and give people a little more time. So we're going to be doing that next year, and that'll be a little bit of a change. Everything else should remain the same as it has in the past.
Speaking of excellence in education, it is time, actually, to really get into the program.
Yeah.
And in fact, the first cohort is coming in this week, isn't it?
I think Wednesday. Yeah, I think Wednesday. Is it Wednesday at 9:15 maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have our first group, and we had some things to iron out, and we changed a couple of the internal processes to make it a little bit easier for the school districts, and be able to truly recognize some of the students in a different way. Nothing major changed, just in terms of how they nominate the students and what some of the criteria is. And we wanted to be a little more transparent, because we did have questions of how some of these students were chosen. So we're hoping that all the school districts do share this rubric, and it does get out there so that the parents can see the criteria that we're looking for in terms of excellence, and how it's truly a well-rounded student and not simply based on grade point average or how many activities you're in. And I'm always impressed when the kids come here and talk to you, Todd. They always seem to share insights that make you feel good that they were the ones chosen, because they're truly all over the place in terms of what their future goals are, in terms of what their interests currently are, in terms of why they were recognized in the first place. But yeah, I think we're going to have our October and November students coming in Wednesday for the first time, and then in the next few months we'll do the same thing with all the other students coming in from the county schools.
Yeah, it's interesting to watch and to listen to them, because in today's day and age, kids have so many different options of where they want to go after their school careers are over, and you can almost see them working that out in their conversation with us. I'm going to go here to do this in order that I can go there and do that, and structuring that plan. I think back to when I was at that age, and I had nowhere near that clarity.
Me neither.
And
no.
that construction of the plan. And that can be a function of their schools having a better grip on things now than 40-some years ago.
I think that's part of it.
Yeah.
But it's not always that easy. It is the student as well, and the student's family. I mean, there's a lot of components to that. Certainly, I think the school, they have different focuses now than maybe when you or I were in school. Not that it was necessarily bad, but it's more career readiness focused in a lot of different aspects, and it starts at an earlier age where they start talking to the students, about potential interests and potential career pathways and the courses that they may need to take. So they're preparing the students earlier. So I do think that's a major component to it. But if it were that easy, we'd have a ton of students that would be following those same paths, and they don't. So I do think that a lot of that is the students and their makeup, their families, and truly, what's internal for them to motivate them to get to that point in their lives at such an early age.
The students who stand out the most, they're more global, number one, and that makes them more savvy, number two. I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll be very excited to meet
looking
this
forward
group
to
coming in on Wednesday, and then forward through the rest of the year. And, of course, the teachers are a component of excellence in education, too. And we think of the reward at the end. Oh, boy, there's a car out there, and that is amazing. And thanks to Colonial for that. But
absolutely.
At the same time, we're thinking that we're really celebrating a whole mindset and approach to education from the teacher's perspective as well as the students.
Yeah, we want to be able to encourage teachers, and I think teachers in general do a great job. But I said this over the past couple of years that certainly that's an industry, and I think that's a profession that's taken a hit since COVID, and I think it's impacted a lot of ways because education is different, and sometimes some of the individuals you work with are different in terms of the students and their mindsets. It's vastly different than it was even 10 years ago. And I think things like this help to recognize teachers because sometimes I think it's a thankless profession in many ways, and I can say that my wife now back into that profession. But I think this is a way to recognize some of the great work that they do, and because a lot of times when we see the students and we see the students get these awards and get recognized, there's a lot that's happened and a lot of people who have made an impact in those students' lives. And, that doesn't always come out in terms of, why those students were to the place where they were. And most of that has to do with the teachers. I don't want to say most, but in a lot of cases, a lot of it does have to do with the teachers. And this is a way to build morale within teachers and hopefully motivate them and encourage them and recognize the ones who are doing excellent work as well. And it's always encouraging to see so many get nominated because I think we have a lot of great teachers, and they're all very humble and we encourage them this year. If you get chosen from your school, make sure you brag about yourself. That's your one opportunity, and we want you to talk yourself up. So,
Mark Hilliard with us, Indiana County Chamber of Commerce. And so you take a big, deep breath at the end of the year. You look forward to the new year. And I don't know if you lay out specific goals, but what are some of the big issues that we're going to hear from the Chamber in 2024?
Well, we are starting that process, too. And, we have a lot of things we can't announce yet in terms of some of the internal goals and things that are going to happen with the Chamber. It's going to be a big year. There's going to be some major changes that are going to happen, and all positive, but we can't announce any of that necessarily yet. However, the first thing we have coming up is going to be at the end of July. I believe July 31st is the date we have penciled in for a business roundtable that we're going to be having. We're going to have some more details and really going to promote it heavily over the next 30 plus days. But Bill Flanagan's coming in from Pittsburgh to moderate it, and we are going to invite. It's going to be free, open to the public, not necessarily the public, the business community, because we want as many business owners and CEOs and even employees who really want to speak out on some of the challenges that they're currently facing and what they see in terms of what the challenges Indiana County may be facing. Maybe some of the successes they've had as well, but we really want to try to create sort of a SWOT analysis in a fun way for the business community for Indiana County. And we have a number of individuals who are coming from the county and from the state who are going to be there to also listen and be able to help to formulate a game plan based on the feedback that we get straight from the business owners' mouths in terms of things that we need to work on, because we're in the process of developing our next strategic plan at the chamber level. I know the county's doing some things as well. This feedback is going to be really important for us because we want a firm direction, and we want to hear exactly from them as opposed to assuming that we think we know what the challenges are, and really have this be the starting point for us to begin to come up with solutions to help move our economy forward and to help improve our business community as well. So that'll be on July 31st, and we'll have some more details coming up on that.
Big plans to come for the Chamber of Commerce in 2024. That's just one of the things that you're going to tackle. Thanks so much for the visit today.
Thanks, Don. Hey, Merry Christmas to you.
And to you.
And your family.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM, AM 1160, and WCCSradio.com. Fox News at the top of the hour, a couple of moments away from now, and then Josh Widdison from our WCCS newsroom. It is 8:57, 3 minutes away from the top of the hour.